How's everybody? This is Tuesday Homeschool Mom Talk, and I'm Devin Vasco, your host at Homeschool House Calls. So, anyway, I'm your contact creator. If you saw this live in the Facebook groups, I am your admin. It's great to meet you. We had a big influx in one of our groups this week. We've had a big growth. And I wanted to say hello and welcome to the groups. And if you don't find us in the groups, if you're on YouTube, you can find us in Facebook. You can probably find us anywhere. But anyway, so my one advertisement is take time to like and subscribe and ring the bell in the YouTube channel. Um, Lots of content on the YouTube channel that doesn't get into the Facebook groups at all. So if you're in the Facebook groups, go find us on the YouTube channel. If you're in the YouTube channel, go find us in Facebook, both areas. So today we're going to talk about, this week I posted a picture about my binder. I call it my brain. My binder is probably about 22 years old. I bought it not long after I married my husband, and I was going back to um, university to finish my degree. And I did eventually. When I graduated, I had two littles. Well, actually, I had one little, and I was very, very pregnant. So I waddled across the stage. And if you met me in person, you know I'm only about 5 foot, if even that. So it was kind of funny to see me waddle. When I'm pregnant, I'm about as wide as I am tall. But I had my brain, and I've used it ever since for homeschool stuff to keep all the things collected. And I think that, well, for one thing, for a product to last that long, it's in pretty good condition, pretty good quality. But now I use it for my homeschool binder, and we're going to talk about some of the stuff that you need in your binder. Now, to start with, always remember, always check your state laws and what they require. You always have to go back that to that. In my state, or your country, it could be your country. It doesn't necessarily be state. If you're not in the U.S., you need to check your country laws on homeschooling and what they require. That is always a good place to start when you're building your binder. Um, I have a past workshop y'all can go onto the YouTube channel to find that talked about having a worst case scenario plan. That is something we're going to talk about today too. With the big C, I've had several families that I work with locally that have had losses and that have needed this information. So we're going to talk about that. So anyway, let's get into that. Your first section should hold your legal information. When you're planning this binder, I no longer think of it as just for me. That's what I would have done in the past. The last couple of years have changed that. So you want that we're going to go over what to put in that first section. But your first section is basically you're putting in anything someone else needs to find, whether it's your husband, your parents, your children's guardian. You want to make it easy for them so that they are not grappling trying to find information. So what are the kind of stuff you put in this first section? Any paperwork that you filled out for your zone school board or whatever legal papers you have. This also probably needs to be a summary of your state or country's homeschool laws. So in my state, we're actually a very easy state. We do have reporting to the school board, and depending on what law, each one's a little. There's three laws. The one I use, all I turn in is attendance to my cover school after that. Some people don't use a cover school, and you store the information at home. Well, even if you turn it in somewhere, you need to store copies at home. You always need copies. Homeschooling is one time you want a paper trail. You want to keep your stuff so that you have it in case you need to have it and pull it back up. So your first thing in this section is you're going to put the legal paperwork, or at least a copy of the legal paperwork. I keep most of my stuff with my birth certificate, so would I will move a copy, and I would have a copy here too, so that you find one. You don't need both, but keep at least one copy with your important papers like the birth certificates. And you could move your birth certificates and stuff into your homeschool binder. You could. I'm like, there's no rule that says you can't. But keep that, and then keep a summary of what your state and your our country, what your laws are, so that they are not grappling and looking for how you're homeschooling. Another thing to put in this first section is who to contact in your homeschool community in case of death. Someone for your husband to call or your family to call to, that they can navigate and answer the questions that they may have. I mean, even my husband, even though he knows now we've homeschooled um, over 18 years, he would still probably have a few questions if he were suddenly, he doesn't do the bulk of it. I mean, he knows, but sometimes, he just may need help to navigate. So who to to answer questions for at least the next 6 months to a year, and let them know they're gonna. I mean, this could be like in Alabama, if you have a church school, this could be your administrator, it could be a veteran homeschooler in your area, someone that can help them navigate and to make them, and all that kind of, there's just things to navigate. I would also put a plan for what you want to happen for that first year. If you make that plan for them, then it's not so confusing. Um, a lot of times when I work with families that have had a death, they are transitioning, the family will transition them back into public school. What do you want that first year to look like? What do you want the next 5 years to look like? Now, I mean, now that I have adult children, I know that they will continue to homeschool Lisi. But at one time, I didn't know that because I had minor children. And, you have to make these plans of what let them know, because if this is, I know death is usually, none of us plan to leave our kids. But if they have a plan, then it's more likely for that plan to be carried out. So make some kind of plan. Make a plan for, plan A for transitioning back into public or private. Plan B for continuing to homeschool. What do you want it to look like? I would have that. And it doesn't have to be one section. You could have sections inside of sections. I'm just saying that first binder is all the, basic stuff. I'd also put any passwords to any online curriculum, any paid groups that you belong to. This is just, same thing, anytime you need your passwords down somewhere in case something happens, then they're able to go in and navigate. Make a short direction. If there's videos that show them how to work, whatever the online, make it, have it all in there. Let's see, what else? Then make, after you do that first section, you have all the things, and that first section will not change majorly from year to year. Once you set it up, it seems daunting right now, I know, but once you set that up, that section is not going to change. It's going to stay about the same. You might have periodic updating, like if you use the private school at home option in Alabama, you would update the information, some information every year. It would get bigger as time goes on. But church school, if you did a church school in Alabama, it would not get bigger because they work differently. But having that stuff in there, they're able to find it. Your kids are able to find it, and you've got it. Let's see. Then you'll move into the next section. You're going to have a section, well, two sections for each child. The first section is going to be all the years past. It could be their grade reports. It could be what you use. I mean, I would keep a list of curriculum because you don't remember, and this is more for you than them. And the second section would be this year. Just keep general stuff. So, I mean, it doesn't have to go in detail, but just keeping stuff that, so that you have it for you, and then anybody else could find it. Let's see. Um, I wrote these last night. So in this year's section, you can put a list of curriculum, lesson plans, grade reports, any co-op classes. Don't assume you can remember, because I can promise you, you won't. when I made Cole's transcript after he graduated, I had made a mistake. One of the things that we had used in the first of his high school, they changed from a .com or website to a .org website because they grew so much, and someone did not download the grades. Someone had to go back and dig for those grades, and lo and behold, they had deleted those grades. They were no longer there. And so I had to go back and find copies of things and rebuild stuff and cause myself tons of unnecessary stress and a lot of stress. I now keep a copy. Don't ever assume that you're going to be able to find it. Keep copies, keep it in there. Put a like a folder. They make the folders that you can put stuff in there. Um, to hold awards, any piano recital sheets, because you don't really want to hole punch those because then it messes up the writing. Anything that you want to remember for their after they graduate or as they get older. I mean, it could be samples of work. It can be samples of let's see what else, art, anything. I actually hang Lisi's art over here. It's not, oh, I see it here. I'll show you. Let's see. That's my TV. Ignore that. See? That's Olivia's. But I switch those out and then I store it. You can also do snap. You can put them, I mean, if you don't want to do a physical binder, you can also scan this stuff and put it on a hard drive. But, will your family be able to find that? So, and you need to tell someone where where your brain is, where your binder. Tell them where to find it. So that's another thing. Um, so my lesson plans, how I did it, because I know lesson plans, thinking about putting lesson plans in here can overwhelm you. I was very simple with mine. You don't have to overthink it. I would do a general plan for the year. I would have that in my thing, and then every week I would take it and update it for the actual like I'll give an example. So like when we did Matthew C. When we did that, I wanted the lesson plan on the lesson to watch. They had a video, so we wanted to watch the video on Monday, do lesson practice on Tuesday and Wednesday, do the review practice. They had review worksheets on Thursday, and then the exam on Friday. Now, then when I had that tentative plan. So the first week I updated it, had lesson one, and I had it all written out what pages I wanted. Then I would print it and put it in a page protector on the fridge. So I saw it, the kids saw it. As they got older, they learned to check off and learn to navigate their schedule themselves. That's one of the, they started that young. But then at the end of the week, that printed page was put into the binder. So I had my lesson plans, even so I had the tentative plan, like, okay, I want to do 3 chapters of this history book this every week. And then I would update that plan so that I had my lesson plans. And then I was able to tweak it. Like, let's say we didn't do lesson 5 very well that week. Then we would go back over lesson 5 the next week. And we would, I would update it so that I had track of what I did. And then I kept samples of work, like a couple, maybe 1 or 2 pages from the beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of the year. So it showed progression. So that's what the kind of stuff that I would keep in there. So let's see. Yeah, that's it. Okay. I'm going. That's all my, okay. This, at this point, this is the end of my notes. That's all I got on. So those are some of the things that I would put in there. You don't have to overthink it. You don't have to make it bigger than what it is. I use Susan Hale's Solution Point Learning record keeping. At the end of the year, I can download the pages and put in their stuff because it's digital. But I can download. I have it on the computer, but if I want a physical one, I can download it and put it in there during the year. She doesn't have lesson plans in there, so that's one thing I would continue to do. With my teens, I don't do that as much because they have that. I can download sheets from, they use Mia Prep, so I can download the sheets every week and it shows what they've done. But that is some of the ways that I build my binder. And I'm sorry I did not have examples because it's kind of hard with one camera. But you can ask what everybody. I mean, y'all are kind of listening, but I mean, if you got questions, let me know. I can send snapshots. I can make snapshots and put it in the group. But that is how I build my binder. I hope it helped you out. I'm looking forward to the week. I will see you soon. Let me know what you want to hear next week. Next week I'm out of town. I will probably do a pre-recorded workshop. I know that's crazy that I can do that with this platform, but we'll be out of town. We're headed to Missouri on vacation, but we hope y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week. I appreciate y'all. Let me know what you need. We can go over anything you want. If you want to talk about different sections of the lot, different sections of today, let me know. And we will see you soon. Bye, guys.